Hey there, my name is Phil, and I want to welcome you to my weekly Soul Impact video. One of the hardest things to do in life is to change. One of the tools I use when I coach people is the DISC personality inventory. And it's interesting to know that the S's, the steadies, really don't like change. In fact, many are adamant that the more things stay the same, the better the world would be. And then they post the opposition to change on social media using their smartphone in their 5G wireless network. They like things to remain steady, right? Makes sense. But you should know that the steadies make up 69% of the population. As a result, people change only when they learn enough that they really want to, when they see the advantage of doing something differently, when they receive enough that they're able to. Wanting to isn't enough, because you also need the tools, perhaps the skills, to make it happen. And people change when they hurt enough that they have to. Of course, we all want to avoid pain, so wouldn't it make sense to put things in motion so that you change by learning enough and receiving enough? To cut off the pain from ever getting that close. But the fact is, most won't change until the pain gets unbearable. Show me where it hurts. I've played sports throughout my life. As a kid, it was hockey in the backyard rink of my best friend George in Peterborough, Ontario, and baseball throughout the summer. As a teen, my sports extended to football. I played tennis, I played basketball, volleyball, and then lacrosse. In my 40s, I learned curling. It's interesting that the older I got, the less bodily contact there was. There's not a lot of body checking in curling. As the years have worn on, I've become a very good spectator and fan, although I would like to learn pickleball. There were injuries along the way: a loosened tooth, a split lip, cuts on the eyelid, bruises, pulled muscles, and bruised ribs. But never a broken bone, not even one. My football coach said that I had legs like fire hydrants, so maybe that had something to do with the rest of my bones as well. In fact, the worst injury I ever had from sports came from, excuse me, this is a little embarrassing, tetherball. Yeah, you heard that right, tetherball. The game with a volleyball on a rope tied to the top of a pole. I'm saying this body checking in tetherball? No. But faster reaction time is needed sometimes than is available. The object of the game is there are two players. The battle is to volley the ball clockwise around the pole while your opponent hits it counterclockwise. You win when you've wrapped the ball all the way so the ball rests up against the pole. It's a game of reversing the direction of the ball and making sure that they can't hit it back. Well, on this fateful Saturday afternoon, as we played, rather intensely it would seem, he hit the ball clockwise very hard so that it came close to my gut where my left hand was, right on the tip of my thumb. The pain was excruciating. I stopped for a few minutes, shook out my hand, and kept playing. That evening, I was in a lot of pain. I got a tensor bandage, wrapped it, and kept moving. The next day, it wasn't any better. The tensor wasn't doing anything, neither was the aspirin. I was teaching summer school that year. Even though there was no relief, it wasn't until the following Sunday, 8 days later, that I finally got to ER to have it looked at. When the doctor finally saw me, his first question was obvious. Show me where it hurts. I showed him, and he told me what had happened. He sent me for x-rays, and a half hour later he returned, showing me the results, and declared, "You have a dislocated thumb and a pinched nerve. That's easy to fix. I just have to reset it and give you a cast for a week." Sounded easy? And then he said, "Hold tight," held my wrist, and yanked on my thumb. And my life flashed before my eyes. I didn't know such pain was possible. I really didn't think more pain was possible than when I dislocated a week before, but that was nothing. I felt the shock pulse through my body, broke out in a cold sweat, and thought life was over. Kidney stones in childbirth couldn't be worse than this, could they? But really, That only lasted a few seconds. And then I realized the pain in my thumb was gone. The nerve was no longer pinched. My thumb was back in its socket. Wearing a plaster cast for a week made sure it wouldn't dislocate again. And by the end of the week, I had tried everything to reach the itchy spots, and honestly, I'd never smelled anything quite like it. But it was all better. Nobody likes pain. We want it to be gone. But life has also taught us that sometimes getting rid of pain requires more pain. 11 years ago, I had to have hip replacement surgery. I was in a lot of pain before the surgery and even more for a few days after, but since then the pain has been gone. As I write now, I'm waiting for shoulder replacement surgery. I tore my rotator cuff, also excruciating, and for the last 7 years the pain has been increasing until I have to do something, and now I will. Here's the thing. The solution to pain is almost always more, usually temporary, pain. Sounds weird, doesn't it? But it's true. In 1981, the Fram Oil Company, filter company, came out with a very clever commercial in which the old mechanic says, "You can pay me now, or you can pay me later. Change your oil and filter on time, and I don't have to change your engine further down the road. Your choice." So, how much pain are you okay with? Are you the kind of guy who takes a really I'm fine attitude when it comes to your relationships, with the Lord, with your family? When maybe your meticulous detail in changing your oil and filter in your car? I don't want you to see any more pain in your life than necessary. If you're hurting, if it hurts and the only solution is to reset the bone, let's get on with it. What are you waiting for? It's not going to get any better on its own. Or maybe it's more about maintenance for you. You find more and more resources available through Soul Impact that are more about personal growth and development, about growing your relationships, learning more about how the Lord has designed you, about filling empty places in your life, about fulfilling God's vision and plan for your life. You may be the exception, but most people are a long way from achieving the potential that the Lord built into your life. Together, we can get there. If you need to deal with some pain along the way, well, we'll deal with it. Even better if we can prevent it. But the fact is that in most cases, we won't do anything until there is a lot of pain. Sad but true. It's also a fact that for most things in life, the pain is self-inflicted. So listen to it. Listen to your pain. If you need to make painful choices in your life, do it before it's too late. So, if you need to make some painful changes to heal your relationship with the Lord, your spouse, your kids, do it. It will be uncomfortable for a while, maybe, but it doesn't get easier with time. My thumb never would have healed on its own. And if you need to make some changes in your leadership style, with your employees or your employer, or you're really coming up short when it comes to the fruit of the Spirit, get help with how you love, your level of patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. As the old chorus says, they'll know we are Christians by our love. Are you known for your love? Are we? If not, we are really messing up. So I have a question for you. If your pain is growing and becoming unbearable, what are you doing about it? If you can actually say, really, I'm fine, what are you doing to prevent anything worse from happening? Wouldn't it be better to never need to go to the ER? So whether you're fine or your life is crumbling around you, please deal with it. That's why I'm here, to help you overcome the pain, to protect you from future pain. If you have pain in your life and you want to connect, just put me, M-E, in the comments and I'll get in touch. Or if you sense pain coming, you've learned enough, or you receive enough, and you're ready to jump, you too can put me in the comments. Let's solve this thing together. Thanks for joining me on Soul Impact.